Mandy Yarkich from Creative Matters, and you're listening to Creative Matters on Air, where I have conversations with new and established artists from around New Zealand. I love to listen to artists' stories and learn about their creative process, and maybe you do too, which is why I've made this podcast, to inspire, inform and educate. I hope you can take away something positive and encouraging from each of these amazing stories to help you on your own creative journey. Hello and welcome to Creative Matters. Today I am speaking with Helen Dean. Helen is an artist based in Titirangi, Auckland, Aotearoa. Her abstract paintings begin with colour and are created through many layers of paint to build up a surface that is full of life, showing glimpses of what's underneath, combining gestural brushwork, playful shapes and subtle glazing. Helen explores a range of different marks and techniques, some gestural, some more controlled, and the paintings slowly take form. Avoiding a formula, each painting develops in its own way as she aims for a balance between light and shade, loose and controlled. Helen obtained her BA in Fine Art in the UK in 1995, but only returned to painting in 2015. Since then, she has had a regular painting practice and has sent her work to collectors around the world. We talk about Helen's time at a fine art college in England in her early 20s that turned out to be quite a negative experience, putting her off painting for many years, and how she finally returned to painting 7 years ago. She explains how it feels to finally be painting and creating again, and speaks so passionately about her painting practice and process, including an amazing collaboration with New Zealand fashion designer Juliette Hogan. It was so lovely to hear Helen's story, and I'm so happy her beautiful paintings are back in the world. Good morning, Helen. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
It's lovely to meet you and to have you out here at Muriwai.
Yeah, it's a really lovely place. It's so nice to drive out here.
Yeah, it's a nice place, kind of away from the city, and yeah. And it's a lovely still day today after lots of wind over the last few days. So, so welcome to Creative Matters.
Thank you.
So, Helen, you obviously have an English accent. You've come from land far away. Can you tell us about where you were born and what sort of child you were?
Yeah. So I was born in a small town right in the middle of England. And it's a little mining town. And I suppose growing up, I was like a lot of kids, you know, always drawing. And that was like my favourite pastime, you know. I was definitely not a sporty kid anyway.
Yeah. And were your family creative at all?
No, not really. I think it was more, I kind of got the sense that it was best to sort of focus on more of the practical and the function of things. And it felt a bit frivolous to care about how things looked, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. In that generation too, I guess.
Yeah.
And, you know, going through high school and that kind of thing, was it something that you wanted to pursue, art?
Yeah, I think so. I think because I just always really enjoyed drawing and I was always doing it. So, I always knew I wanted to, do art in some way, even though I didn't have an idea you could be an artist. I just thought, I'll work in some kind of creative
field.
Yeah.
And so what did you do after high school?
I think when I was 16 is the age when you can finish school, and so I decided to go to do the last 2 years of school at in the city at a further education college. So it's kind of like you could stand at sixth form, or you can go to these places where adults can be as well. And this was a really good change because this college had this special department just for art, and I think it's art, drama and dance. And the art rooms were just open the whole time. You could go in any time. You weren't like specific classes, but you just go there and make art. And they had a life drawing, you know, twice a week. And the tutors that ran the course, they didn't really care about the A-levels so much. That was the exam, the end of school exam. They were more focused on getting you into art school, even though you're only 16, 17-year-olds. It was more, come on, we've got to get you to develop your style, and we've got lots of big paper here and lots of paint, and we really want you to express yourself.
Wow.
And they were really, really encouraging.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds like heaven.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And so it was probably a really long bus journey from my home to go there each day into the city. But it was so good to just meet other people, doing the same thing. And I think that's when I first started sort of knowing what colours I like to use, even that far back. I remember calling them ice cream colours or something, sort of quite sort of brights and pastels and
so that sort of fascination for colour started all the way back then.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was the sort of period when I started just feeling really like, this is what makes me happy.
And were you focusing on painting at that point?
Yeah, painting. And I think, and it wasn't, you weren't really, apart from life drawing, you weren't really sort of taught how to do actual painting. It was more kind of discover yourself, really. And so, and because it was on quite cheap paper, you could do that, just create lots and lots and lots. And so I think from there, I went to do a foundation course at the Polytechnic after, which is a year and you try out all the different areas, graphics and sculpture and, all the different areas. And I think I did try and do illustration and things like that. I thought, maybe I could do this, but it was always fine art that like pulled me in more, maybe it's the freedom and that you doing what you want, not a brief or something like that.
And because you'd had the freedoms from your other course that you were at.
I
guess. And so you went to fine art school in England?
So I decided to do fine art, and I know I hear a lot of people talking about that point in their life when they think, where's it gonna put me financially, because there isn't really a job at the end of it. I don't think I really thought about that. I just thought, I'll go to art school and see what happens,
And were you thinking at that time that you were going to be a full-time artist, do you think?
No, I didn't think you could live as a job with it. No, but I just thought I'd like to go to art school and
that's what you want to do.
Explore that. I think at that point I'd never met anyone that was working as an artist in real life, or I don't think I'd been to an art gallery till I was 16 or something. So it just seemed like a bit of unreal.
But something you obviously really wanted to do. Which is great that you followed your path and followed your passion. I don't think I got any guidance otherwise, like, you should do this, it's practical. I didn't really get any input or advice on what you should be doing, so I just did what which is
I
great.
thought I should do.
And that's a good thing, it's what you really wanted to do. And so what happened after fine art school?
Well, it was not kind of, I don't know. I don't think I came out of it feeling very good about art, actually.
Really?
No. I mean, it was great, the experience and making friends and things, but so the fine art, probably a lot of colleges in the 90s, it's probably the same now. You just sort of given your area, your space, and go, this is your space, develop your practice, and we'll do a critique every couple of weeks. So it wasn't like you're actually taught anything. You're just sort of given your space and you need to think about what you're making. And that was fine. You can keep exploring. But I really struggled with the putting my work in context. I found that really hard. I didn't think I had I felt, I was just intimidated by maybe the tutors and that I didn't know enough and I couldn't do the art speak, with the right vocabulary. And so I'd kind of like avoid the crits and hide from the tutors.
But it is, it is a thing that you have to learn, isn't it?
You do, yeah. And I was okay on essays, but I really couldn't speak. And you need to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully these days that is part of the course.
Yeah.
You'd like to think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the tutors there were tutors, and then there were also like visiting artists that would do crits and that kind of thing. But yeah, I wasn't the most articulate person, and that's really important with fine art. You can't, Yeah, so didn't feel that confident at the end.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
And what were you actually doing at that time, Helen? Were you making abstract paintings?
It was abstract paintings, and I was really proud of what I made. And even now, if I, there aren't really any photos, but, I liked what I was doing. I was I decided, I think by third year, I'm just going to paint, what I like. And because I think I did get lost in the first couple of years, because I was reading all about, conceptual art and all the contemporary art at the time, which was, it was more about the idea. And I really worried that I don't have the idea, and, I should be saying something with my art, to be contemporary. And so, I did get lost for a while. And by the third year, I just came back to like painting and what I actually really liked. I came back to it again.
So, well, that's good. I mean, you obviously had the confidence, even though you felt like it took your confidence. You had something within you that you felt, actually, I'm just going to go back to what I love to do, which is good.
Yeah. It was good for me, but then I did actually leave with a really bad degree. I didn't get it. And so then, I felt like a failure. And so I think then I just stopped painting afterwards and just said, right, okay, I failed. I can't do painting. And then just didn't paint for years. And
Oh, that's such a sad story.
I don't know, maybe it was a bit, not very mature of me, but I was only like 22, but I suppose I felt sort of a rejection, like, no, you can't paint, you've got a bad degree. That's it.
Or that
they're the experts, they know.
Have enough talent or something like that.
Yeah. Well, they're the people that know, and they've graded me as a third class degree. So I'm third class, so I better go and do something else.
Oh, that's so sad, isn't it? It's terrible.
It is sad.
Yeah, and kudos to you for coming back to it after such a
long time
negative experience. Yeah. So how many years later
did
you come back?
Too long. I left it. I don't know why I left it that long. I just wanted to cut it out of my life or something.
Well, it was an experience that you sort of wanted to forget for a while.
Yeah, maybe.
What a shame. Oh, that's really damaging, isn't it? Imagine what could have come of your painting if you'd been just carried on painting from then.
I know.
Who knows? And so what did you do, Helen?
So I think, so I didn't feel good for a year or two. I think I just was on the dole or something, just doing this and that. And then I did a bit of traveling, and then I started working as a English teacher overseas, when you can, because it's an easy way to go to a new place, get a job. And so I flew to southern Spain and phoned up around all the language schools, got a job there, and then stayed a couple of years in different places.
That sounds amazing.
And also while I was at Fine Art Art College, I also did like an exchange to Belgium, to a college there. So I'd already got like an interest in living in Europe from doing that, I think.
Oh, that would have been great.
So I did that. Did the same thing in London. Worked in language schools there. Met my Kiwi partner in London. We lived together for a while there, and then thought, we'll come and see his hometown of Auckland, see how it goes. And and still here.
You're still here to
I know,
this day.
17 years later.
Wow. So you came to have a look and you never returned.
I had a working holiday visa. I think I was about 30, I think. So working holiday visa, came here, and I didn't go back. So
wow. Aren't we lucky to still have you here? So you came to New Zealand around 2004, and then it wasn't until 2015, after teaching again in New Zealand, that you returned to your painting. So how did that happen?
We just moved out west, out to Tirangi, from the CBD, from Auckland CBD. And for the first time ever, we'd had a spare room. So I started making really small colour studies, really, really tiny. I was actually cutting up copy paper into really little pieces. This is how sort of cautiously I started. So really small and just with colour, just putting different squares and rectangles of colour just with the brush next to each other and just going, getting that feeling again of, wow, these two colours together. Oh, I love them. And just started making more. And I think almost from the beginning, I started taking photos and just putting them on my Instagram. I joined Instagram especially for this because I thought it would be good to have just a little record of them because they just look so nice, and I got so much pleasure about the colours. And I think I only had like about 5 people, that came on and liked my pictures, but it was really great to find people doing the same thing. I mean, just maybe people also beginning with painting or creating something. And yeah, so I just started doing that, like I think every day or every other day, just a little bit of creativity in my day. While my daughter was at kindy, and then I just got slowly a little bit bigger, and then I was on A5 little paintings, and I just started like that over the year, just building up and just painting on paper and sort of just going wherever I wanted to go with shapes and colour. And I had a whole cupboard full of stuff that I'd made. Most of it was just awful, but there was always like, if you make 20 paintings, you get two
good ones,
beautiful ones.
Yeah.
So it's like that. Yeah. And it was, and again, to make myself not worry too much, it was always like real cheap materials. And you don't need to, if you're just trying to get back into being creative again, you don't need the fancy stuff. And
it's a good way to start because you don't feel so pressured, I guess, to make a masterpiece every time.
You're not precious.
Brush to paper.
And it's sort of slowly sort of built from there. And then I was probably working on A3 size, something like that. I remember masking taping them to the walls, and they started going places I didn't expect, more layers. And I was getting that real exciting feeling when I came back in the room, seeing what I'd made. And it was kind of addictive.
That's so good. And I'm so happy that you found your love of painting again after all those years.
I know.
Isn't that great?
Yes. Why didn't I start before? I know.
Yeah. So, to anyone listening who hasn't quite got there, just do it. And I think that idea of starting small is quite nice. It's just sort of staying within your little comfort zone to start with, and then as you get more confident and get back into it, you can kind of take a few more risks.
Yeah,
which is so good.
Yeah, and you need, and I really think you need sort of quantity to sort of build things up. To get
just
practice,
keep making and making and making. Yeah. And it's so nice that you finally get to that point where you can stand back and think, oh, I like that. It feels good.
Yeah.
So, Helen, for people who haven't seen your work before, and you can see your work, by the way, on our blog at creativematters.co.nz, of course, and also on your website. But for people who don't know your work, how would you describe your painting and how it feels and what it looks like?
Okay. It's quite hard to sort of put it into words, but I'll try. So the abstract paintings that are kind of done in lots of layers. Sometimes it's like it looks as if there's some kind of organic forms on the surface, but you're not quite sure what they are. And often there's a lighter sort of pastel sort of areas with overlapping sort of planes, and then also there's often marks sort of connecting the two areas somehow, but you're not really sure, is that behind, there isn't really that much depth, but there is a little. You're not really sure, is that in front of that or is that behind that? And there's also the paint actual that's been used that you can see is some will be very thin, washy glaziers, and then there'll also be some that's quite thick and textures. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you are working a lot of your work now. I mean, you still do the smaller works, but you're also doing very big work on canvas.
Yeah.
Which is great. And so, how do you actually? I mean, when you think about it, the form of it is sort of shapes overlapping and layering and line with the mark making, and then you also do some sort of dripping sometimes with the thin paint.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
And how do you actually go about building it? I know you're very interested in colour, and that's often your starting point. So what is the process for making a painting?
So often I'll want to get rid of the white blank canvas to begin with. So I'll have a lot of fun at the beginning, using a big brush and work quite gesturally, just to cover the whole surface. Because I quite like to start with saturated colours first, because I think that gives a good base, it makes it look richer at the end. So I'll do sometimes colour blocking or sometimes just big gestural shapes and I know that the first couple of layers you're not going to see it by the end anyway. You might see a tiny little bit of maybe a pink, a hot pink coming through, or a blue coming through, just little cracks around a shape, and I really like that. But it's so I really work in lots of that each layer sort of connects from the one before, each step leads on to the next step. So I don't really know what direction I'm going to go in, because I let accidents happen in the first few stages, at least, as well.
And you're responding to kind of what's happened in the first stage.
Yeah, that's true. And sometimes I'll often work on lots at the same time, but I won't do 5 all in the same color palette. I wouldn't work like that. Each one is going to be its unique painting with its own colors and marks, and they're often at different stages. So in my studio, some are kind of 3/4 finished, some are at the beginning, some are almost finished.
And you have your work, obviously, sometimes you use quite thinned out paint and sort of washes with lots of water added, I presume. And so you have that sort of dripping off the canvas kind of vibe going on, don't you?
Yeah. Sometimes I use the water in a, what do you call it? A thing that you squirt, squeezy thing. Yeah. Sometimes, I'll put the paint on and then squeeze water over it.
Squeeze water.
Also, I like to sometimes I like to use J-cloths and dip that in and mess it all around and get more free marks. And
so would you say that your process is quite experimental with tools and kind of just seeing what happens?
Kind of, but I am aiming for something. It's not just random. So I feel like the first stages are kind of more free and trying different tools and seeing what happens. But then once I get something, I can often base my painting around that sort of elements.
And what makes you feel like you've got it, or you've got the starting?
Something that's interesting. So it could be, I've done particular color, and then next to it, then a next mark is more sort of thin and not thin, but maybe it's picked up a bit of the colour next to it in the brush, and you've got a stripe and it's got a little bit of red in it or something. Something that just looks interesting to my eye, and I'll try and work things, the rest of the painting around that. So
Yeah.
there's an interesting element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Mm,
And
but-
how do you actually, I mean, you said before that you had that sort of difficulty with not knowing, conceptually what your paintings are saying. Have you developed that? Are you trying to say something with your work now, or are you still responding purely to shape and colour?
Yeah. Well, I think now I've realised where that is in context, that is valid, because if you're process driven, then you're concerned with materials and you're concerned with how you're using the paints, and that's what you're concerned with, and it is a flat surface, and I'm not, that's a way of painting which doesn't need to be about the environment or
and it's still valid.
That's it is what it is. This is painting, and
and that's how
I'm
you're
kind
painting.
of comfortable with that now.
Yeah, which is so great, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've been on such a journey, and you've come through knowing that that is still valid and can be valued.
Yes,
and that's how you create your painting is in that way, as you say, quite process driven.
and I feel like
it's good.
I feel like it's actually quite honest, because I'm not always telling a story about it being about something else. This is what it is.
And people can still look at the abstract work and take from it what they want, or maybe think of their own stories within their head in response to your work. That can still happen. It's not like there's no stories. It's just maybe not starting with a story. I mean, do you ever find that at the end of an abstract painting it is reminding you of something, or it is actually starting to tell more of a story than you realised?
Not really a story. It's more, for me, I kind of get like a feeling of them. Like one will feel, very light and I don't know. More of a sort of certain feeling of looking at
like an emotional connection.
but usually really positive feelings, I have to say. I don't really do dark and moody painting. It's more creative. It's always created from a really positive state of mind. I can't paint if I'm not feeling good, so that might be why.
And it's so great that it's become such a positive part of your life after starting in a slightly negative way. You've turned it around. Which is so good. Brilliant.
I feel like every step sort of
And with the titles, I mean, I guess with the titles you can see that you've really thought about how you title your work, and that gives the viewer maybe another little insight into what you're doing or thinking. So we've got titles like Deeper We Go, Over and Over, Soft Echo, That Time Last Summer. So that's just 4 examples. So how do you come up with your titles?
I don't really have a technique. They just sort of, I don't know, they just come to me, I think. Maybe, I think when you're painting, you're in this sort of state, aren't you, where, if you're not listening to a podcast or music or something, or even if you have got music on, you're sort of thinking about things, you're going over so many memories and, and then maybe that's the kind of creative state of mind, and words come as well.
You're in that flow.
And time just goes, so you've got no concept, have you, when you're painting?
It's such a good feeling, isn't it? And do you come up with does the title start kind of emerging as you're painting, or do you look at it at the end and try to figure out a title?
Oh, at the end. Yeah, definitely. Because they can change so much, my paintings, honestly. If I look back at photos I had, they can be a totally different painting earlier on, They can be,
head off down a different road.
Really can.
And do you work in series at all, or how do you work?
Well, I think, so I always think, oh, you should work in series because it gives you more chance to sort of explore something, more fully. So I was doing that. And I did a couple of series and sort of released them on my website and put them out, that kind of thing. And then last year, I decided for the first time, I'm not going to work in a series. I'm going to experiment and just do painting by painting and just open myself, be free, don't try and connect one to the other, and just see, if working like this gives me more freedom to explore, just in one painting. So I did that last year, and actually I feel like I learned more, really. Yeah, I learned more techniques, and I learned things that I'm actually using this year. Yeah.
Why do you think that was?
Well, because when I've done series before, I'm wanting them to relate to each other. So you close yourself off when you almost like want to go down a new route. You stop yourself because you're like, no, it's got to go with these ones over here.
Yeah.
So I can't suddenly go and put a neon blah, blah, blah in this area.
So was it colour that was connecting to make a series, do you think?
Colour, but also not just colour, also the sort of composition and the style, I think, looked similar. Yeah. But last year, I changed, and some were very quite not, I wouldn't say minimal, but a lot less lines and a lot less busy. Some of them were,
That's interesting, isn't it?
There's more of a range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess the series idea can be sort of comforting for people because it gives them some direction or sort of some cohesiveness in their work, which can be good. But then I can see what you're saying about having just looking at each painting as a separate entity. Yeah.
So, I thought I'd try that. But this year I am sort of working, I'm just using size as my constant. So I'm doing like 6 at 1 meter by 1 meter, 6 at this other size, 6 at this other size. So, I sort of have using size as a common thing.
That's nice.
But I'm trying to learn from what I did last year of work, using each painting, seeing each painting as a, an individual one-off.
I mean, your painting, you definitely have a Helen Dean style. Now that I'm familiar with your work, if I was to see it, I'd know it was yours.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
Your work definitely has a sort of connecting style and form and sort of feel, I guess, all the way through, I'd say.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard. Yeah, I can see that, I suppose. But sometimes when I'm painting, I think, oh, wow, these all look so different. They look like they're painted by different people, Yeah. It's harder to see yourself, I think.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I think you can see the differences in the paintings, but I definitely can see it's from the same artist, yeah.
Well, that's good.
It's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And you've kind of found your style as you've come back to painting. You've settled on a style. Can you ever imagine changing your style or changing your painting that you're doing?
I think it develops all the time. I never try to sort of set out going, oh, I'll do another one like this, or, it just, it goes where it goes.
Go with what you're feeling at the time.
And I feel like they're getting a bit more variety in them with, marks and tools that I use and things.
Yeah, well, they're really beautiful works. They are absolutely gorgeous. And how do you actually choose your colour? I know that you're so sort of colour focused. How do you, what colours do you love and how do you figure out the colour palette for a painting?
Yeah, so I don't really figure it out beforehand, but I've just stopped being drawn to a certain colour. I love pinks. So like most of my paintings will have a little bit of pink in. And it's funny when you say pink, because some pinks I really don't like, but it's more kind of quite muted, so if I'm using a pink, it'll have a bit of green in it just to sort of mute it down. And I don't like colours straight from the tube because I think you can always tell So, yeah, I spend quite a lot of time. Often in the summer, I've realised when there's a little sort of break when I have the Christmas holidays, I'll do lots of sort of colour work then, and just do lots of mixing and on my palette, and make lots of little swatches on paper and sort of, and then, yeah, instead of just squares, my swatches as little squares, I'll make like really mini abstracts, with about 5 colours, and just what looks good next to what, and
they'd be beautiful in themselves.
Yeah,
I imagine like little mini paintings.
Yeah.
And how do you actually work in your studio? I mean, do you have a palette? Are you mixing on there, or do you mix on your canvas, or how does it work?
Yeah, I use a Stay Wet palette, so mix on that. And I actually need to get some more trays, because I realise now I'm working at a bigger scale. You just need so much paint, and it's just I'm always mixing up paint, and I like the idea of pre-mixing and putting them into containers, but I've tried a few times, and I've never got the colour I need at that moment, so I kind of mix on the go, really.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you use acrylics?
Yeah. Acrylics and lots of different mediums. Yeah,
they're great, aren't they, the mediums?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Acrylic paint has just gone to a new level, I think, lately. There's so many amazing products.
Yeah.
Out there. And so tell us about your studio.
So studios, it's actually I think it should be the master bedroom in our house. So it's like underneath the house. And it should be a bedroom. It's got lots of built-in wardrobes at one side, but then the other side has got a wall which I've turned into a painting wall, wood strips to it with nails, so I can hang up the paintings there.
And you paint on the wall.
Yeah.
I saw that in a photograph. I love that idea. So do you use easels as well?
Not really. There is an easel, but I don't get on with the easel. Having to twist the thing, and I don't know, I'm getting a bit impatient with it. It's never the right height, and then it hits the ceiling. No.
So you've just got like battens.
Battens, yeah, and then we put in screws that are poking out, and so you can just hook the paint in over the screws. And I've got it on 2 walls actually, yeah. So that's quite good. So I can put 2 or 3 big paintings, and then I can stand back. You can have a look.
Yeah.
So
I love that idea. I saw that because, as you know, I'm in the middle of getting my studio together. It's getting built. Yeah, and just kind of thinking about how I'm going to paint, where I'm going to paint, and if I'm going to keep the wall as like a beautiful sort of gallery showing place, or if it's going to be a messy working place.
Yeah.
It's quite a tricky balance, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and even the thing with the white walls, mine gets covered in paint quite quickly, and then when I paint it for open studios, because I want to present my work there, I just love it. It's so nice, but yeah, it doesn't last long.
Yeah, but it's quite nice in a way, having kind of a fresh start. Yeah. And so your open studios, that is with Waitakere Open Studios.
Yeah.
So how often do you get involved with that?
It's usually once a year. I think they were cancelled for COVID reasons, the last one. But I went ahead anyway, because most people were happy at that point to be out and about. So, and it was, it was a really good thing to do at the beginning, because it meant I could actually meet people who like my work, who bought my work, and have conversations, because most of the paintings that I sold were online, so I never got to meet anyone. So yeah, I really, really thought it was a great thing to be part of. And
yeah. And it's lovely to be able to share your work, as you say, with somebody who loves your work face to face. Yeah, it's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And another exciting thing that you got involved with, Helen, was your collaboration with Juliette Hogan in this year, and she commissioned you to create 2 paintings for her fashion label. So Juliette Hogan is a well-known New Zealand fashion designer, and that is an amazing opportunity. How did that happen?
Well, Juliette got in touch through Instagram and asked if I'd be... No, I think she probably sent me an email, but she'd found me on Instagram. That was it. And said, would I be interested in something like that? And I kind of thought straight away, yeah, that sounds really exciting. Yeah. So that's what I did. Two paintings, and then the people... she has someone who works for her who makes a digital print out of the paintings and makes it into a repeat pattern, and then they put it onto the fabric. And
wow,
yeah,
how amazing!
I know. And so now I have a dress which is
your painting.
Yeah, just my colours.
Wow! And have you got the dress?
I have it at home. I haven't worn it yet.
So did they gift it to you? Or did you have to buy it, or was that personal?
Oh, it was
question?
gifted. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing! How incredible! Yeah. And so, did they give you a brief, with the colours palette they wanted? Or?
Oh well, I went into the place. I don't know, the workshop, do you call it? And saw their mood board, and we talked about the colours, and it felt comfortable because the colours that they were looking at are colours that I would use anyway. Like soft pinks and blues and
plum.
Those sort of colours. So I felt really excited once I'd seen that. And on the mood board, they'd cut out a couple of my paintings that they'd seen on Instagram or something. They were in the mood board along with some fabrics and things like that. So I could see how it would work.
It fitted. Yeah. So they obviously had their sort of idea. Was it the winter?
It's called 1, so 22-1. So I guess is that winter 1?
I'm not quite sure.
Is that more autumn, isn't it?
I don't know. Somebody would know. Some listeners would know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But so they obviously had kind of thought about, the feeling of that collection and the sort of colour palette. Yeah. And then I don't know if they were actually out looking or if they just came across your page, your Instagram page, and saw that how beautifully it connected with what they were thinking for that collection, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
How amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the best thing. I mean, that must have just been such a
buzz. So it's like, I guess the process of it was a bit like doing a commission, but I think in the back of my head I had the thought, this is going to be... needs to be a fabric design. So I think for a while I did have that going around in my head, and it did sort of change how I painted a little bit, and I had to really overcome that and go, no, just paint as usual.
I can imagine.
Don't try and do textile design because you don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Then I guess they turned your painting into textile.
They focus on a little area of it, I think, anyway. So
and repeat it.
Yeah. So,
and then wow, good for you. That is brilliant.
So that was.
Oh, you have to tell your lecturers back at college all those years ago. Look what I've done. Up you. Oh, well done. That's a very exciting collaboration, and so amazing to have that dress.
Yeah.
And to be part of a collection. Wow. Well done.
Yeah.
And you've also been on, you've had an article written about you for Your Home and Garden, which is a New Zealand magazine. So how did that come about?
Yeah, that's this month. It's in the supermarket.
Wow, great.
Yeah. So I bought a couple of copies, sent one to my mum.
Oh, I have to buy one. So how did that come about?
Well, I think the person that got in touch, Leanne, she is the person who wrote the story and did the styling, that kind of thing. She bought one of my paintings from Endemic World in Ponsonby. I think she saw it in lockdown and as she was walking past, and liked it then. And I think she asked them, who I was, and got in touch to see if I'd be interested in having some photos taken in my studio and that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
And so
that's so good. And what was the article about? Just you as an artist and your work and your studio?
You see them often in magazines, don't you? The artists sort of, painting and showing the space. So, so there's some photos in the studio. I think a painting of me painting, and also we did a couple up in the house and out on my deck, that kind of thing. Just sort of showing the whole environment.
How good.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And that's going to be so good, such a fantastic marketing tool for you.
Yeah, I think it'll be good because, you buy that magazine if you're interested in your interior, don't you? Or you're renovating your room or something like that. So that's the people that are more likely to be looking for paintings, aren't they?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well done.
So that's good.
Yeah, and so amazing this year that people are just coming to you like that, Obviously you're doing something right with your marketing because you're being found.
Yeah, it's kind of chance things, I think. Like she was walking past and it just... My painting's quite a small one, but it happened to be in the window. So lockdown walk, she got to see it,
Serendipity,
like,
isn't
it?
Everything
I love
in
that.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that word. I think that's just brilliant. And lots of guests actually mention serendipity. It is one of those things, or fate, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're looking out for certain things, that can help as well, because you notice... if you think, I want this to happen, then you're going to notice when there's an opportunity,
That's
maybe.
Right, yeah.
As well.
You're more sort of awake to certain opportunities, possibly. Oh, well done. So it's been a good year for you, 2022, with that kind of thing.
So it's good marketing, but I realise at the moment I don't really have a lot of paintings sort of out there because I'm keeping everything back for this exhibition. So, yeah.
That can be a tricky balance.
Yeah.
So when you have all your hundreds of people saying they want your work, you won't have any work.
I haven't really got anything.
Well, you can just direct them to your show, which is coming up. Yeah. And then, I guess start the commissions or start the extra work after that.
Yeah.
So you've got, at the end of July, an exhibition coming up. Where is that?
Yeah. So it's at Tarua Gallery, which is in St Heliers. And... it's a joint exhibition with a sculptor called John Allen. And so I'm going to have the paintings and he's going to have wooden sculptures. And that's coming up. And I've made lots and lots of paintings, but from all these paintings, we're going to select which ones will go in it.
Oh, that's good. And then you have some spare for all the people who want some of your work.
Yeah, exactly.
And why do you think they've put you together with the John Allen sculptures?
I think before, a few times I've had a painting in the gallery, like quite a big abstract on the wall, and then they've had like a piece of furniture before it and one of his sculptures in front. So they're quite... they're abstract sculptures, sort of made out of I can't really explain the wood, and they're kind of nice shaped forms, and the surface is really sort of shiny and but they complement each other quite well, and also we've realised that the process, what goes into making the sculpture, there's so many different steps. And he doesn't really know where it's going. And there's a kind of similarity there.
Between your processes. Yeah.
And at the end result, you can't actually see the steps you went through at the end. But if they didn't happen, then you wouldn't get that result in the end. So we've been sort of talking about this together. And because we've been trying to come up with a title. And so we've decided on Presence in Absence. So you can't see all those other steps, but they're sort of present.
Love it. That's a great title. Oh, and how beautiful to have an exhibition with your paintings sort of connecting with sculpture, and that have that sort of that connection with the process. It's really nice. I can't wait to see it. So that's end of July.
29th.
29th at Tarua Gallery, St Heliers. We'll put a link to that gallery at the bottom of your blog post. Okay. And, obviously you're doing really well sort of commercially with getting your work out there, that you've had these people find you. How do you find selling your work, and what different ways do you actually do that?
We think so. I have a website, but of course, website, it's nothing unless you can get people to go to it. You've got to, constantly sort of divert people there. So social media is the main thing. Instagram's a big one for me because I suppose I've relied on that from the beginning, from like 7 years ago, and it's slowly built there. And so Open Studios is a good one, and sending work to galleries, and then Instagram and website.
Yeah.
And I've added a shop function now, so people can actually just click and buy. And I really resisted doing that because I just thought, people that buy art don't want to just buy it like anything else. They want a conversation with you. They want emails, because I'd always sold like that in the past and just give my bank details and, we'd talk. And then someone else told me that it's worth doing. And I said, okay, well, I'll give it a go. And I did it. And it was amazing to just wake up and just saying, you have one painting sold.
Yeah.
Like a big painting. And I thought, wow. So some people don't want the hassle of emailing back and forth, and some people don't want conversations. They just want to click, I want to buy it today.
That's right.
I just didn't expect that.
Yeah, and that's really great that you've discovered that. And you have a shop sort of connected to your Instagram, do you?
No, I didn't do that.
Instagram
you can do
one.
that
You
too.
can,
and
but I found that for me actually works quite well too. It's a similar concept. People see it on Instagram, think I love that. Actually, I might buy it. Click. Bought, it's so simple.
I thought with that it might be good if you had prints or more things, like cheaper things but multiples.
Yeah,
but it seemed like a lot of faff to upload everything, and I just thought I'd have it on my.
But the great thing is with selling on Instagram is that you have it in your website. Yeah. And then it just links to the shop on the Instagram.
Okay,
it's not a whole new other thing that you have to put together.
I think I did try, but somehow it wouldn't link, but it was quite a while ago, so it might have changed.
I mean, I did it recently, and it's actually surprisingly easy.
Okay.
And then you can just tag the product, and that takes you into your website. Actually,
right? I should try again, because before when I did it, you had to do this strange thing to the Facebook back pages. It was really complicated.
No, it's pretty straightforward, and it's just nice because every time, like for me, if I put a painting up on Instagram, you can go and look at it very easily by just clicking shop and it takes you into your website, which is a good thing.
Yes, it is.
It's a simple way of getting people onto your website, but also onto that actual painting if they just want to quickly buy it. Yeah. Especially, as you say, for prints. I think it does. Yeah. It probably does work better.
I was thinking for prints, because even though I said people will just buy, I think they've visited it many times before, I think when you're spending a bit of money, I don't think you do just buy quickly. I think you're mulling over a bigger painting, or
that's right.
It's expensive. You're talking with your partner, you're showing them.
Often I think because you have that Instagram presence, probably people are familiar with the work, and then just following your journey, and then see something they think that's the one I want. Yeah, and so then it is kind of quick, but there is some backstory.
Yes. I don't think someone would discover you and buy something immediately. I think you have a relationship and you build on it.
And that's a good thing about Instagram, that sort of relationship building.
Although I feel like we shouldn't rely on it too much, because anything could happen there, and trying to build newsletter, email list, I realise is the thing.
Yeah.
But
well, that's your loyal audience, isn't it? And I've read your blog. Oh, my dog's trying to get in. I was just going to say she hasn't made an appearance on a podcast for a while, my little dog. I'm just going to let her in. She's barking at the door. All right, so the dog's in, and just talking about newsletters, how do you get your audience for your newsletter?
Well, if there's an in-person event, I'll have a sign-up sheet, and then another thing I realised is quite useful is every now and again actually mention it, because no one's going to know it exists unless you mention it. So on Instagram, I'll maybe, I don't know, once a month or something, I'll explain, you can sign up for my emails and you'll get first access to new work and events and that kind of thing. And to make it easier for people, I get them to just DM me their email and I type it in and fill it in for them.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. and pop up on the website. But yeah.
Yeah.
So it's quite hard to build. I don't have many people at all.
It is hard to build, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And also you do a blog on your website, which is a really lovely way of sharing what you're up to and your process and your thoughts. And, it's a nice kind of current way, I guess, for people who are interested in your work to get a sort of feel for what you're doing at the time or what you're up to. And I really like the way your blogs sometimes are really quite short, because I'm more likely to overspeak, to say too much, to write too much, and it gets very wordy. But sometimes it's nice just to share a painting and say, one paragraph about it, and that's it.
Yes.
Which is good. I've learned from that.
Yeah. No, I understand. I was the same, and I think my first blog post, I did it like an article. I went researching how to frame art on paper, and I wrote it down and all these links, and it's like a valuable, post. And I thought everything had to be like that, but it just means I never get around to doing it. I just go, it's on my to-do list, but I'll do that another day. I haven't got time for that.
Yeah, exactly.
But then if you treat it just like sometimes an Instagram post, but just put it on your blog instead. Because don't they say blogs, regular blog updating is good for your website?
Yeah.
For search results.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Stuff. So yeah, I need to keep that in mind myself and remember to do it.
Yeah, but you're so right. If you know that it's going to be like an absolute mission to put it together, you just think, this is hard, or you start working on it, it takes forever, and then by the time you finish it, it doesn't feel relevant.
Yes.
So it's really good advice, and even just I like the way that you record some of your process and the sort of a work in progress, partway through a painting where you have a few photos of the beginning and the middle and before it's even finished, and just a few words on that and reflections, and then I guess you're engaging your audience, and they're kind of waiting to see what the final work is, and not giving them all the information in one blog can be good.
Yeah,
it comes across really well.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard when I kind of forget blogs sometimes because I'm thinking newsletters more important, but I think the same with newsletters. Short sometimes is good. Just a photo and a few words.
Yeah,
same thing. Really.
And sometimes you kind of feel like you've got to go really detailed to make it you sound sort of semi-intelligent or like you know what you're talking about. But actually, it's fine just to give something quite brief. Yeah. So I'm just thinking about people who have gone through a similar process to you, where they've been discouraged or come across something a little bit negative to do with their art or their art practice. What advice would you have to them for sort of getting over that and moving on with their art practice? Well,
you do meet a lot of people in that position. Like, when I have open studios, there's lots of people come in that say, I'm in an office job, I really don't like it. I used to paint, but then I stopped, or I used to draw and I loved it, but I stopped. I think I usually say, is there a way to start in a really small way? Just something like a drawing a day, maybe the 30-day project. They're quite good to get people started, and don't be too hard on yourself. If you miss a few days, it doesn't matter. You have life. But I'd say, start small, cheap materials, that kind of thing, and probably go back to what you love. Don't think about the audience, and don't think about it as a finished product, or this has got to be my career, or I've got to sell this. Just do it for yourself.
To start with and see what happens.
And you can do it in really short amounts of time, because people do. They fit things in on the coffee break, or
just start,
that kind of thing.
Like that. Yeah.
And once it starts, I know once you've got creativity in your life again, it just adds so much to everything. I think.
And you're working part-time still teaching migrants and refugees English, which is something that you did when you were younger. But you're devoting yourself, quite a big part of the week is devoted to painting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you feel now that you're able to give more time to your art practice?
Oh, I just feel so, what's the word? Is it gratitude? I don't know, thankful. Monday morning, no complaints, it's just, can't wait to get on with things. It's just a really good feeling to think I'm just going to walk downstairs and start painting, and even the other stuff to do with painting, the business side. I really, really like that too. Just like all of it. Even the tweaking the website, even the uploading sales info. I kind of like it all.
Yeah.
It's just like the dream job.
Isn't that great? I'm just so...
Nothing I don't like.
I'm so happy for you, Helen, that you've found yourself in a way, through your painting again. And after all these years, it's only been the last 7 years that you've been painting again. And, after a difficult experience and coming back to obviously what's so sort of in you is so amazing. And then to get that sort of buzz out of being creative again and all the other aspects of being an artist is so great. And it's a lovely role model for people out there, who have had little struggles like that, you're living your best life and you're loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations. It's been a really interesting journey, and it's been beautiful talking to you and listening to you talk about your painting with such passion and devotion. And it's been lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been really nice.